Well, yeah, how would you say the season has gone for you so far?
I think it's gone quite incredible. Quite incredible. Yes, we obviously started off very strong, and we have found some of our weaknesses, so to speak, and we got them to be stronger. So hopefully, coming here for Norwalk, our weaknesses will subdue a little bit.
And like you mentioned, you got off to a great start this season. How tough is it to maintain that over a 24-race season?
You know, I guess I'll tell you that in a couple months, only because I've never been in this situation to be able to know what it takes to be able to sustain that longevity. But that's why I look towards Todd and Joe and the team who are seasoned veterans of what it takes. I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. I know at the beginning of the season we had some things that worked in the car very well that we set aside for, when that time counts, when the countdown comes. And that's slowly, there's about 3 different things on our race car that we are honing down, specifically working on at the same time to better ourselves for that time. Sometimes, most of the time we're hitting it, sometimes we're missing it. And I think that's to answer the question of how difficult is it? It's that as we're racing and we're competing, we're also trying to plan. And that's more than just, what happens each time on the track.
And obviously it's only the middle of the season right now, but only 11 points behind first place, 9 ahead of third place. How interesting is it to be in a race that tight for the top spot?
It's super interesting. It can change by qualifying. Every round, every time we hit the track, it matters. So we like to say, when we were number 1, that was awesome. It was a cool thing to say. But at the end of the year, post Pomona, that's when it really, really counts. But I am happy to see, it's not hundreds of points difference between. Once we get back after third, but it's all, at the end of the day, it's all just going to crunch up, for the countdown. But it shows, everybody wants to be on top, and qualifying last and being at the end of the pack when the qualify is big. I'm happy to be in the spot that I'm in.
Leah, part of what you just said, a race fan that was listening to you might look back at you and say, well, wait a minute, are you trying to win every weekend? How would you respond to them?
Absolutely. We're not trying to not win every weekend. We're trying to be low of every round. We are trying to win every round and win every race. There's absolutely, I have no fan has any question of that at all. Every time we roll into these gates, we know that we are capable as long as we continue to operate at maximum capacity. That's what it takes. I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing Torrance's team and Antron's and everybody else operating at absolute max, and that's why you see the competition being so steep. Now, how long can you operate at absolute max? That's why I say it's a marathon. So you put it up into small little sprints of the best you can do time and time again. And I'm sure we're all very glad to take a breather after this race for 4 in a row. It's hard on the guys. It's hard on the inventory, hard on the crew, and even the people here that follow the sport and support it. 1 week off is going to be good, and that's going to be a nice little recharge before we go out west.
Now, based on what you just said, you didn't say it was hard on the driver. Is that week off something you look forward to as well? Or as a driver, you kind of say, no, I want to keep going?
It's a little bit of both worlds. I like having back-to-back races. I feel I do better inside the race car. So, but then you take into account of traveling and everything else, it's hard. That part is hard on everybody equally. So I guess if I had it my way, I would just like to race just every single day of every single year. That's not possible. I would take the back-to-back races because of the consistency for it, because of the time I get to spend with my team over long periods of break. But that's obviously necessary for. We call ourselves Team No Sleep because we go all the time. So does everybody else.
Leah, you're obviously the face of the team and you're having a great year. Papa John's as well. But if you could, tell us about your guys, the chemistry. We hear you talk about Joe and Todd and everything, but who plays what role? Who's the guy who breaks the tension with the joke? Who's the guy who's the disciplinarian that gets everybody in line? How does that dynamic work?
Well, that's awesome. No one's ever asked that question. So I'm seeing this in real time, as everyone else is too. So So
Sorry.
that's okay. At the beginning of the season, it's real easy for things to go very well when you're winning, right? And then when you're having some difficult times, I would say that disciplinary one would be, I would say Scott, so to speak, but there's nobody that cracks the whip because they don't have to. When we went to the Go Left program at Papa John's, we talked about it this week. We didn't know why we went to Go Left last year besides helping us work together as a team for the countdown last year and for this season. When we went to Go Left in the beginning of this season, as working together as a team, it was for what we're going through right now. It was for how to deal with success, how to deal with failures, how to deal with outside variables that try and pierce into our world. And what that taught us is, I mean, we already have loyalty to ourselves. So how does the dynamic work? Todd is the most level-headed person that I've ever met. Joe, he's I don't want to say the funny guy, but he lightens it up a little bit. And all of us, we all have our own inside jokes with each other, but we've got one guy, say Blake, for instance, he just turned 24. And I did the average age, it was like Monday of Epping, and the ones who were left inside the trailer, the average age of our team was like 28 years old or something. So we have a very young team, so to speak, outside of, our experienced crew chiefs. So we find ways to make everybody feel accepted and loved, but then in a very sarcastic way some of the time, and we have to do that. I don't know. There's nothing better than working with some of your best friends.
Thank you.
About the success of the season. You yourself, do you feel better or more in control at the front of the pack and leading everybody, or do you feel better being maybe just a bit off the pace but charging? In terms
Do I
of
feel better or do I do better? Which one's the
either one.
question? I think I'll answer it very blatantly. I'm so used to being behind the ball and always chasing for something, right? Whether it's sponsorship or points or a ride or whatever it is, I'm so used to being the underdog that I've learned to probably operate in my best capacity in that sense. And I'm learning how to operate on the top. When I say learning, I'm taking direction from Todd and Joe and even Papa John himself. So do I feel, to answer the question, I feel great inside the race car. So give me any situation, we're going to show out the best we can.
I suspect you've been hungry to win a championship since you started in drag racing.
I have been with you. So it's expectation management. You can't be winning a championship without a full ride or a good ride. And so all of those things have happened and are now happening. But it's what you say, it's the halfway mark of the season. Mm-hmm. We're in contention, potentially countdown's not here yet for something like that, a championship. So I'm honestly, at this moment in time, we're in almost July, I'm focusing on renewing contracts so we have an 18 ride. So those are the things that are on my mind as we're pushing towards a championship for this year. So it's not like how you do this year is going to dictate what happens next year. What happens now, what is happening on the track, off the track, our sales for Papa John's and everything is, we're in that, a different stage than last year, but it's also not a whole lot different.
Right.
Just pushed out.
Speak, if you will, about this track. What is special about Norwalk for you versus other tracks?
Well, I wish I had a long answer for that or in-depth one, but I haven't raced at this track very long. I've raced here twice in Pro Mod and 4 times now with the Dokes. 3 times. So I actually have the least amount of experience on this track by itself, but I feel like this is the people's race. This is the people's track, the people's race. So as much as sometimes I'm like, this is my track and my people, I feel like the fans that come here, they feel like this is their track because the Baders have done such a good job of making them feel like almost part ownership in it because of how often they have events and how grandiose he puts them on. So I come in here as, honored to race at their track, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.